NBA playoffs out in the West Conference. San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama going back home now after the Thunder did take Game 2 and tie the series up 1-1. Wemby, of course, put on that show in Game 1. Yesterday, though, there was a lot of talk about how physical things were for Wemby in Game 2. Here was Charles Barkley commenting on whether he agreed with that assessment.
You people at home and on TV talking about they were physical with Wemby, man, y'all need to stop it. I've been kissed harder. But for you people thinking that's physicality, y'all need to shut the hell up.
Guys, we're the people at home and on TV. What was your response to that?
Well, it's not physicality relative to a WWE match, but it is physicality based on the way they played in Game 1 versus the way they played in Game 2. Completely different. They had the 7-footer in there. Let's just be honest. He was holding him or grabbing him or shoving him or, hooking him on essentially every play. Now, nobody is saying that he was committing assault, but he was absolutely doing that to try to slow him down. And this is something that is probably going to be where this series is largely decided, and certainly how each individual game may play out. And look, if you were the Spurs, you would be begging for the league to give Victor more protection.
Yes, and maybe more free throw attempts. But I
mean,
mean, look,
2 in Game 2?
He only had 2 free throw attempts in Game 2. Look, what Charles is saying is like we're all old heads. We all say that's how the game used to be played, right? So what's the big deal? What Hartenstein was doing was certainly legal on the street and apparently in Charles Barkley's bedroom, but it for the NBA standards, though, there was a lot of holding, there was a lot of physicality, and that's something that Wemby's got to play through. He's got to play through it. He's got to go to
playoff
it.
Basketball, right?
But he did that against Minnesota.
Yeah.
He seemed to back away, get out of the paint a lot more. He let that strategy work for one game. He can't let that happen in Game 3.
The problem is when you get to playoff sports, in any sport, basketball, football, the level of physicality is going to go up. Like that's just what happens. And the issue is not more so with, people like former players or people actually playing the game. It's with the fan base that frankly feels like everything is soft as tissues. Like, oh, he's being held in every single possession. Yeah, that's what you do. Alan, we had a little demo the other day.
They did exactly what you did to me.
Put an arm bar on you. Right? I'm like, yo, I'm face guarding you every possession. I'm holding you. I'm grabbing you. I'm doing all these different things. Like, that's what you do in playoff basketball. Yeah. By the way, it doesn't affect Wemby. Wemby's not complaining about it. It's the fans and it's people in the media saying how busy. Well, that's what playoff basketball is.
Right, but he still has to answer to it, though, Jay. He still has to go to it. Okay, you're going to play me this way. I'm getting you in foul trouble. I'm making sure that I fight fire with fire. You got to match that physicality. I felt like he kind of, once they started doing it, he got out of the paint.
Well, got the best of him in the Minnesota series when he went boom, right? Got the best of him. So I think we're still watching a player learn how to mature throughout this experience. I mean, Wemby hasn't been to the playoffs 10 to 15 times, guys. I mean, he's really his first time in the playoffs.
But he's playing like a guy who did. But don't you think, though, at home he's going to get the whistle?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a thing that we talk about the star treatment that they all get? Like, he's Wemby. He should be getting more than 2 free throws. Yeah. And at home, you would imagine he would get more calls. And
this is one of the things about the NBA playoffs. And I wish there wasn't an officiating component, but there is an officiating component. They have different officials that referee different games. The games take place in different cities. You get a different situation in Game 3 versus Game 2. That's why we like the drama of a playoff series. And I would expect tonight, one way or another, will be different. I don't know how it will be different. That's why we watch the game.
Real quick, before we get to the talk about where we're going with this one, injuries, we've got 3 key players. Williams on Oklahoma City, and of course, you've got Harper and Fox. We'll find out about those guys, but what's your look as far as Vegas goes?
I think you get points tonight. I'd go over the 217.5. We had over 230 in Game 2 with one of the slowest paced games you'll find anywhere in the playoffs. So I think tonight with a lot of backups or potential moving parts, spacing the floor becomes critical. Also up and down shooting earlier in the shot clock. I like OKC a little bit here tonight. First time as an underdog in 34 postseason games. That goes back 2 years. 34 postseason games. They were 7.5-point favorites at home, so we're moving the spread 9 points to transition venues with Harper and Fox both potentially
but the
out.
shirts.
J-Dub's out of the
shirts.
Yeah,
the shirts.
They were the create tip-off at 7 with Ernie, Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq. Another pivotal Game 3 goes down tonight in San Antonio, where Wemby is looking to get another win for the home crowd. Wemby put on a show in Game 1. They stole one on the road, but SGA and the Thunder bounced back in Game 2, even it up 1-1. Yesterday, Charles Barkley downplayed the physical play against Wemby that helped OKC get the win.
You people at home and on TV talking about they were physical with Wemby, man, y'all need to stop it. I've been kissed harder. But for you people thinking that's physicality, y'all need to shut the hell up.
I've been kissed harder. Alan Hahn, I love your reaction. Your take.
Not lying.
I've been kissed harder than that too, but it's it's different in the 90s. You know what I mean?
That's why the button's undone.
It's different in the 90s. The 90s was like, they don't play like that anymore, but if you watch some of the highlights, like they were physical with it. It's exactly what you have to do with a guy like Wembanyama.
Yes.
What I don't understand is how he only got 2 free throw attempts. And so this guy's a star. He's playing at home in game 3. I would expect he's going to get more free throw attempts. Don't you think, if they're going to play him that way? And he also has to play, to me, into the contact. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I did this with Minnesota. He has to go to the contact. He has to get Hartenstein in foul trouble because clearly it did work. They limited him by the way they played.
If you were a Spurs fan, okay, you'd be screaming bloody murder, okay? If you were a Spurs coach or front office, you would be saying, call the league office, keep it protected. If you're a Thunder fan, you're like, yeah, what great stuff, And if you were a superstar in the 90s like Charles Barkley, you'd be like, that's how we did it back in my day. Everybody's just playing their role, okay? But the truth is, they can't play Wemby without being physical. If they don't play physical about him, he'll eat them alive. This is their only option. So now Wemby has to adjust to it, and they're going to be in San Antonio. This is how playoff series are supposed to go. You're supposed to then have to readjust when maybe the officials will give you a couple more calls. I love it, but let's be honest. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, both teams are dealing with injuries, not at full strength. The Spurs played both games in this series without De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper exited in Game 2. Wendy, any updates for the Spurs on those injured players?
So they referred to the injury for Dylan Harper as adductor soreness. So I didn't hear hamstring and strain. So that's a positive sign, assuming they're telling the truth. The Thunder also said that Jalen Williams had hamstring soreness. I didn't hear the word strain, which leads you to be able to say somebody is questionable with a straight face. I don't think Jalen Williams is questionable with a straight face. And Dylan Harper, an adductor injury, is a soft tissue injury. I think you should be prepared for the Spurs to play without their guards again tonight, and that is going to put even more onus on Victor Wembanyama being able to dominate, and it puts more onus on the whistle. When your team is injured and your team is diminished, you need the whistle more.
Jay, can they do it without those two guys in the back?
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, but J-Dub being out for OKC, they've already played 55 games this season without him, and they won 39 of those 55 games, right? You playing without now your lead guard, who is a veteran who understands time and situation in this type of playoff game, and like a guy who can score the ball, and now Castle's your primary ball handler who has 20 turnovers in 2 games, doesn't put you in the driver's seat. Let me just say one more thing about the Wemby stuff. I'm taking my objective analyst hat off for 1 second.
I like that.
You know what I love about him? He does not say a damn word. He doesn't complain about it. The fans and we can yell about it all day long. But one of the reasons you find yourself rooting for him is because he plays through all that SHIT. He plays through all of it.
Unless he hits you with an elbow. But yes, he does do that.
The one time he retaliates. But then you watch, contradictorily, when you watch OKC play, every single call. Every single time they shoot, SGA is landing in somebody's region. He's falling down. And you're just like, how do I root for that? I see why I can root for that. I can't root for that.
You're rooting for ethical hoops.
As a fan of the game, I just want to see the game respected. And there are times when I watch OKC play, I don't feel like they respect the process of the game. It's too much.
But as a
foul.
competitor, you understand that the Thunder are doing what works for them and what wins.
Sure, but when you fall down 95% of every shot that you take in the fourth quarter, at some point, and I'm glad that the refs are not calling it, I get psychologically exhausted. It makes me check out of the game.
But that's what they're trying to do. They don't care whether they're riding a stallion down the court. They just
But when's
care
the last time
they...
we've seen a back-to-back MVP do it at this length, though, Wendy? Like, even when I played against AI would get fouled a lot. But AI was 165 pounds soaking wet.
True, but you also understand the nuance of the game that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a spectacular player.
All that's correct. Do you respect it, though?
Do I wish it wasn't like that? I wish it wasn't like that, but I do think I think he's a spectacular player, and I don't think diminishing him is a
I'm not saying that I don't think he's a spectacular player. I'm just saying
two things can be true.
I'm becoming a person not respecting it as much anymore.
You don't love watching him on his back every time he shoots the ball.
That's what. He's a great player. One of the greatest plays. I'm starting to not respect.
Winning a championship means never having to say you're sorry.
I love this stuff. Joe Forbo, we got a great game.
We're both right.
What are your thoughts and
great
what is your
points.
best
Two
bet
things
for game
can be
3?
true.
I'd make 2 bets. I'd look to the total, which is 217.5. I'd go over. The pace was really slow in game 2, and we still got 235 points. I think with the injuries, they're going to space the floor more, and you're going to get shots earlier in the shot clock. For the game, I'd look to Oklahoma.